Hey, Vikings. Today we're going to be talking about town layout. This is going to be the first in a new player uh, guide series. So if you're an experienced player, you may want to just go ahead and skip to another video on my channel. But let's get into it. So we'll start with the right side of the river. What you're going to want to do, eventually you're going to have to switch into hyper farming. If you start off and you have a few of each resource production thing, it's not the end of the world. Just know that at some point you're going to end up destroying most of those. You want to have at least one of each thing. So you see I have one lumber, one stone. I actually have two farms. I'm going to end up deleting this one at the moment. It just kind of helped with that positive food production. But the rest of it, as you can see, is all iron. And that's really important for maximizing your resource production. I may do a hyper farming video later, but there are a lot of those out there already. So a YouTube search will find you one of those pretty quickly. But the very short version is that you produce almost all of one thing. That way you can maximize your hero skills. You can put all the points into that resource production. You can put on some buffs, etc., and get your production up to between 1 and 10 million units per hour. And it also lets you hold on to a large number of the other resources because they aren't stopping you from producing. So it lets you kind of stockpile everything else and produce a tremendous amount of one resource, which is going to be a lot higher than the total amount of resources you would produce with a variety of things that you're making. So that's how you want to set up the right side. Now the left side is a little different. There are a few points of view on this, but typically there's one way that is going to be the best overall for the most players, and we'll get into that here. Essentially, all of the confusion comes from how many barracks do I have, how many infirmaries do I have, and how many manors do I need to have. And the answer to that, in an ideal world, you'd have 2 barracks, you'd have 1 infirmary, and the rest are going to be all manors. Now, early on, it doesn't hurt to have a few barracks up, just because you need to be able to produce constantly. But once you hit barracks level 21, you're going to get the number of troops in training from that one doubled. So I think it goes from 1250 to 2500. So at that point, if you have 2 of those, you can queue up 5,000 units at a time, and you're probably going to be fine. So what I do sometimes is I'll start with 3 or 4, and then once I hit Palace 21 and get one of the barracks up to 21, I'll dump the other 2 barracks, the extra 2, and replace them with manors. As for infirmaries, they're a nice thought, and it's nice that if you get hit in your town, you're going to save some of your troops, but it's just really not worth it unless you're making a trap account, but that's a more advanced topic. And if you're here, then you're probably not worried about making trap accounts right now. So the most important thing really with this is that your town should never get hit. The infirmary doesn't help you when you're attacking, and it doesn't help you if you get hit on a tile. It only saves your troops if they get hit while they're in your town. You should have a shield up at all times. Your town should never be hit. So because of that, this building is pretty much worthless, but you do have to have one to keep building up your town, so that's why you have one. Now the manor, you want to have as many of these as possible. Each one of these gives you 25% training speed, which is quite a big boost. So you're gonna want to maximize these and get them to level 21 as fast as possible. Let's see, 20 to 21 gets you an extra 5%, so it's not quite as crazy of a jump as some of the other buildings get when hitting Palace or when hitting level 21, but it's still a pretty big jump. You also produce silver. Silver's so incredibly important for upgrading your knowledge and later troops. So yeah, you want to maximize your banners. And really that's essentially it. So you want to build all of one type except for one of each thing on the right side, and you want to keep 2 barracks and the rest manors for any open slots. You need one of each thing here as well, but outside of that, everything should be manors. As always, if you found this video helpful or interesting, please hit that like button. If you're interested in more videos on how to maximize your efficiency of your account on Vikings War of Clans, please hit that subscribe button to be notified of new videos, and I will see you all shortly.